Will be the end of my lesson for today. I have a task for all of you, my students here. All of you must research about the STIs in the Philippines context. I will post the list of topics in our Google Classroom and make sure to add a reflection paper. You may all leave the meeting now. Have a great day. Stay safe, children. Bye for now.
Goodbye, Professor. Thank you.
Goodbye, Professor. Thank you.
Goodbye, Professor.
Thank you, ma'am.
In this video, you will experience what happened in science and technology and developing society. You will get to know what happened in every age that contributed what we have today. Let's see. Hi guys, welcome to this channel. I'm Aviegale Roldan. Come and join with me to learn new interesting things about early Filipinos. Before we start, what is early Filipino? According to my research, early Filipino already have their own culture and tradition before coming the colonizer here in our country. That means Filipino before our country got colonized, we already have own culture and tradition. With knowledge of Filipino before first Spanish era, they know the way of life. They already know how to plant their crops to provide their daily foods, taking care of their animals for daily food production. Science were used by Filipinos by using technology by creating houses, irrigations, and tools that they need in their everyday life. And they developed tools for cooking, hunting to fight their enemies, and during the war. Also by creating a good music. Before I go, I will give you some facts. Did you know that many scientists and historians believe that the first island in the Philippines emerged during Pleistocene period? Thank you for watching. I hope you learned new things from me. And please watch the next video about metal age.
Hello guys! Today I'll discuss the metal or Iron Age in the Philippine history. Let's go and join me in exploring the wonders and the richness of our heritage and culture. Do you know that the earliest metal tools in the Philippines are generally said to have first been used somewhere around 500 BC? The first concrete evidence of the presence of iron tools in the Philippines was discovered in Palawan around 190 BC. Iron remained an extremely scarce commodity even in the subsequent periods, and its presence was unknown in many sections of the country until several hundred years later. There are high-grade iron resources in the Philippines, particularly in Luzon. Although they were not exploited until contemporary times, for some reason it's also possible that earliest evidence of iron has been obliterated over time. In fact, there were sites in Palawan dating back to the year 200 BC which appeared to contain iron. But where do you think this iron came from? By the 7th century, it was known that China had already begun to cast iron, and by the 3rd century AD, it had mastered the technology of producing brittle iron and had begun to mass-produce metal items such as ballpoints. Until the 16th century AD, they had a monopoly on this. When the Japanese, Europeans, and Thais arrived in the country, the amount of metal pieces unearthed in the Philippines was insufficient to support a chronological category of metal age. especially since it was unclear whether the metal pieces or the metal itself were made in the Philippines. Are you guys wondering how our early ancestors benefited from this metal age? This new technology has influenced the culture of the islander and has accelerated the rate of change. Because iron tools could keep their cutting edge for longer, they were more effective and efficient than stone tools. Even after a single usage, stone tools lose the sharpness of their working edges and must be reground before they can be used again. Metal tools, particularly iron, can be used repeatedly before needing to be rehoned. Tools on top of this metal can shorten the time it takes to clear land and make larger areas available for cultivation. As a result, the ratio of man to land area shifted dramatically during this time. There were more guys per unit area now than there had been previously. This strain on land capacity necessitated innovative ways of food production that could produce more in the same amount of space. There you go, guys. Thank you for watching the brief history and findings of the metal age in our country. Stay tuned for more informative lessons and healthy discussion. This is Team Leterio, and now let's see the next topic, which is the Spanish colonization. Bye!
Good day, everyone. I'm here today to talk to you about Spanish colonization. With the time of Spaniards, they colonized our country and many people struggled and died. Much people lost of their life for our freedom against Spaniards' colonists. But the time of Spaniards colonized the country, it will have a good effect to our country and everyone. Because when the Spaniards colonized the country, they brought with them their own culture and practices, and they established schools for boys and girls and introduced the concept of subjects and disciplines. So many people is had the discipline to other people. This is the first beginning of formal science and technology in the country, known now as School of Science and Technology. The science is a study of natural world by collecting data through a systematic process called the scientific method, and is related to the human body, plants, animals, and heavenly bodies. Technology is where we apply science to create devices that can solve problems and do tasks. It is focuses on using a machine and developing how tools used in everyday life. Technology is literally the application of science because technology uses science to solve problems, and science uses technology to make new discoveries. Science and technology help each other advance. Innovation of different technologies give the chance on scientists to explore the nature in different methods. The Learning Sciences and Technologies program gives us the knowledge, skills, and techniques to assess, design, and implement programs in learning settings. And this is about the history of Spaniards colonization. I hope you can learn about my topic today and my video. Stay tuned, watch the next topic, the science and technology of the Philippines during American colonization.
Hey guys, I'm Christine Joy A, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how American colonization helps Philippines. I want to share with you all today how science and technology works here in the Philippines, as well as how it can help our country and their contributions with. I know how education, which is one of the Americans left for us, helps our nation. So first, let's talk about the greatest impact of American colonization in the Philippines. Did you know that the greatest impact of American colonization here in the Philippines is the introduction of American system of education that has been the one rule, and its impact and influence on the life and culture of the Filipino during and after the colonial period was so widespread and very far that is universally recognized as the greatest contribution of American colonialism in the Philippines. But you also want to know how Americans' education impact our country. Let me share this. The United States colonial government has a big issue on education under period because of the benefits or the lessons that the students can learn, such as cultural values, especially the English language to us, the Filipinos. Forming a national identity as well as Filipino nationalism leads by instruction in English language and American history. Now let's talk about the advantages of colonialism in the Philippines. First is the universities were open early. We couldn't agree more that the Philippines improved in civilization, wealth, and a large population in 1820 only. The schools and establishments of schools were built. The Filipinos were taught on how to read, write, and speak in English, which we can use to trade in different countries. The positive influence of American during colonial period is that we really had benefits from them that helps Filipinos to cure someone that get hurt during wars because of the advancement of medicine. We were able to build better castles too because of the advancement of architecture, and there are lots of advancements that American influenced us, such as literature, math, and geography. We really couldn't agree that the Americans has a big part in Filipinos as well as their country, the Philippines. If you want to know more, make sure to watch Japanese colonization.
Good day everyone, I'm Leandro, and for today's video we will talking about Japanese colonization or World War II. Allied forces headed by the United States invaded Japan after World War II to recover from 1,000 of air raids. It took years of administration. By the 1950s, a former foe had transformed into Western ally, and elements of American culture had been ingrained in Japanese culture. World War II claimed the lives of 80 million people, or 4% of the world's population. During World War II, millions of Germans and Japanese were forcibly removed from their homelands. Occupation resulted in the slew for a long-time issue, including East and West German as well as North and South Korea. Did you know that the United States provided economic assistance in the Philippines, exchange of 99-year lease on a military basis, and free trade privilege? The assistance provided by the United States ways to get the war victims back on the track and serve in own welfare, according to the constitutional model in America between 1946 and 1972 in the Philippines was governed. And also, did you know that the Marshall Plan was the post-World War II U.S. aid initiative for Western Europe, offering more than $15 billion to help finance reconstruction operation on the continent. The plan is 4-year strategy for rebuilding cities, industry, and infrastructure. Thank you for watching. Maybe you learned something about our topic, so we'll go on to the next video, which is New Republic.
Good morning everyone, we are presently living in the New Republic or Third Republic era. Since foundation, the government has had to rely on overseas development allocations or ADO. It helps to enhance its scientific output and technological competency due to a shortage of resources. Human useful resource development or improvement is on the coronary heart of those efforts, which aim to bring more alternative professionals or experts within the Philippines and country. Internal and external human and social activities influence or impact development of science and technology in the Philippines. Survival is the first of 3 internal influences factors. Culture is the second most important component, and economic activities are the third most important factor. In addition, there are 3 external influences factors. The first is the foreign colonizer, the second is the trade with the foreign countries or overseas nations, and the third is internal economic demands. Science and technology get the potential to have substantial impact on people's lives and the development of Philippine civilization. Nevertheless, important for improving the quality of science inside the Philippines remains of the major challenge. The states of science institution is gradually improving, are only a few individuals enrolling in scientific and technology programs. This is it for the Philippines history of science and technology. I am Sheila May Vargas. Next would be the government policies on science and technology. See you!
There are government policies on science and technology. Yes, specifically, we will tackle about the Philippines. But before anything else, let me introduce myself first. Hi, I'm Charmaine Sangson, another vlogger for the day. First, government policies are the laws and rules created for the better state of the scope. There's the guidelines which people, especially the citizen, must follow. In coordination with science and technology, the purpose of it would be to make things convenient. It is also aims for new discoveries and development of the existing ones, as it is also incorporated with government. The objectives are also to make economic growth or improvements more based on the needs and wants to the people. It also makes the scope ready for the advancement of science and technology as more inventions are created. According to the following goals, more plans, programs, projects, and policies are created by the Philippine government. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN, which consists of the countries Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, and Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, had summit in 2015. The National Research Council of the Philippines or NRCP was requested for their expertise by the Department of Science and Technology or DOST to help them refer to different divisions to fulfill the preparation for the 2015 ASEAN goals. Policies and programs were suggested by the NRCP to upgrade the nation's competitiveness. Stay tuned, the next vlogger will discuss the NRCP's recommended policies. Thank you!
Did you know that the National Research Council of the Philippines is one of the oldest research councils in our country? Yes, it is indeed the oldest. NRCP was created in 1933 and it was the first ever Research Council in the Philippines. Good day to you. I'm Marvin Rivera who will give you an overview of the 4-cluster policy by the NRCP. The first one is social sciences, humanities, education, international policies, and governance. The policies regarding the local food security, using the mother tongue for learning, building school infrastructure, supplying ICT broadband, and blending the basic education with ASEAN awareness. Second, the physics, engineering, and the industrial research in earth and space sciences and mathematics intends to promote science and technology as a tool for the country's development, allows peer monitoring, recognizes the career of people, opens more opportunity for employment, and reviewing the RA 9184. This Republic Act is concerned with acquiring infrastructure projects, goods, and consulting services. The third one, medical, chemical, and pharmaceutical sciences focuses on the promotion of using evidence-based research to every Food and Drug Organization and implementing Food and Drug Administration to make sure that the ASEAN harmonized standards will be observed in drug manufacturing firms. The policy for getting an education council for standardization of pharmaceutical services and care, giving the Human Genome Project support by constituting a law and granting the 2% of GDP to research. And the last one is the biological sciences, agriculture, and forestry. It tackles the protection and promotion of conservation of biodiversity and indigenous people, application of biosafety and standard model in ASEAN countries, and production of common food by following the safety standards. And our CP is a project under the DLSD. They started having 144 members, including the members, scientists, and the researchers. In 2008, a diesel alternative was used. It was made out of the crude coconut oil and water-diluted alcohol. Surveyed about the dengue virus using the study of genes or genomic was created in 2012. Natural restoration were used to places that were mined out in 2015. Also in 2014 in Lake Lanao, pollutant measurements with ciliates and protozoans were researched for its use. Antibiotics for seabeds and antibacteria was used in Eastern Visayas, Luzon, Palawan, and Mindanao to collect data in 2017. I hope you enjoy our discussion. Keep watching because the next vlogger will discuss the existing program of DOST.
Hi, good day everyone and welcome to the Bachelor vlog. And I'm here to teach you more about DOST program. So what are you waiting for? Let's go and learn whether you want to listen or not. We all know that you can put some time to someone who didn't follow you. So why not put some effort to listen to this lesson that is much worth it. So if you are ready, let's start and learn more about DOST program. Before we start this lesson, I have one question. Are you all aware this established program of DOST is supported by the Philippines program? If not, then I will tell you what are those projects because you deserve to know it and to grab the opportunity of those given programs. For those researchers out there, the DOST might help you because they offer support for fundamental research and patents connected to science and technology, and the government sponsors both basic and applied research, which is also supported by overseas development aid from various countries, while for the inspiring students who wants to pursue a college major that relates to science and technology that has no money for the school fees, don't worry, the DOST got your back because they grant scholarship as well for undergraduate students. Another project of DOST is to increase the number of branches of the Philippine Science High School system with the purpose of educating young Filipinos in the area of science and technology. So it's not only the goal of DOST but also to develop parks of science and technology them in various campuses in order to promote academic environment and partnership from different industry. This is a good idea because parks are where most students stay, which will give a high possibility to influence you to participate more on this field. This will give a chance to enlighten more on the people on the importance of science and technology in our lives and how it has helped and is still helping us in different ways that we might not even realize. Aside from the things that I mentioned earlier, DOST also has a program which is the goal is to inspire Filipino scientists who are currently overseas to return to the Philippines to work and conduct research and projects here in our country instead of abroad. This program is called the Lead Scientist Program, and there will also be a chance for them to collaborate and interact with other Philippine scientists, and it will be a big help to improve the current level of science and technology we have to the point we are able to compete with other countries in the field of science and technology. I don't know if you know this, but we didn't know that the establishment of National Science Complex and National Engineering Complex in University of the Philippines campus in Diliman is to enhance science and technology and increase the engineering manpower that will be a huge help for our country. Not only that, but we are also aiming to gather more researchers to achieve the goal much easier and faster. And now when you think about it, we can also be part of this development as there are many existing ways for us to participate, especially now that there
that everyone is being encouraged to take part of the continuous growth of science and technology in our country. Once again, Maxine here on your screen, and I hope you all learned a lot from this video. If you want to keep learning, watch the next one, which will be discussed by Mr. Salvino. And thank you for listening until the end of the discussion.
Good day to all of you. This vlog is all about sharing information of how you, as a simple student, will become new scientists or inventors of this technological era. So just listen to some information that I will share to you. You all know that numerous science-related programs and projects have been developed in the field of education in the Philippines to improve our country's scientific knowledge. So, have you already part of the K-12 students under science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? If yes, then it seems like you're already experiencing the improved science-related programs and projects. The goal was to prepare and encourage more students to apply in science-related majors in college because maybe one of you can be the greatest scientist or inventor someday. There are numerous other areas and fields in which our country intends to undertake various research and projects, such as first is the use of alternative and safe energy. Through this, it can help to mitigate climate changes and decrease carbon footprint in our country. Second, harnessing mineral resources. The Philippines is rich in mineral resources, but we should find ways to sustain it. Third, finding cure for various diseases and illness. Maybe we can discover a medicine that treats all kinds of cancers and other diseases or illness. Fourth, climate change and global warming. Advanced technologies can be created to help make a healthier environment. Fifth, increasing food production that can help poverty and avoid famine. Sixth, preservation of natural resources. We always use the natural resources for our daily needs. We should create something that protects it from harmful activities of humans. 7. Coping with natural disasters and calamities. We can create inventions like drones or robots which help to locate survivors and give information during emergency. Lastly, infrastructure development. The traffic is one of the main problems in our country. I hope we can discover something to fix this. Isn't it all great? We have more opportunities to learn and to discover more about science in our field of education. And to learn more, watch about the Philippine Congress created various laws about science and technologies.
Hello and good day everyone. My name is Zheryl B, and for today's vlog, we're about to learn about Congress. So please keep watching. The Congress of the Philippines is the legislative branch of the government that has the authority to make, amend, and repeal laws. The Senate, or the upper house, and the House of Representatives, or the lower house, make up this institution. The Philippine Congress has also enacted a number of scientific and technology-related laws. These laws provide the country with a legislative foundation for science and technology. These laws vary according to many needs, such as conservation, health, technology development, and basic research support, among others. Some laws and regulations are in accordance with international agreements, such as the United Nations or the UN, and educational, scientific, and cultural organization of the United Nations or the UNESCO. Other international organizations include the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or the ASEAN. Let's move to the policy development in the Philippines. The evolution of the policies in the United States is depicted in the diagram. Science and technology policies must be aligned with national goals, take into account international commitments based on frameworks, and respond to a variety of social needs, issues, and problems. Science and technology policies ensure that the entire country and all people benefit from the progress that science can bring. All notification should be directed toward the goal of establishing a scientifically sophisticated country according to policies. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope I enlightened you about our topics and you were able to pick up some fresh knowledge. If you want to know more, just watch the Filipino side. Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Donalyn Z. Join me and let's learn interesting things about Filipino science. Did you know that Filipinos excel in the field of science in terms of agriculture, mathematics, physics, math, and biology?
born to Gladys Barras. Buildable work is this a tissue culture system used to fulfill main goals. As a field process also use satellite imaging to assess the characteristic of Antarctica. For the field of electrical engineer, we have also the Harvest Junior who contribute to the theory and practice of automatic control. This person known for her study of safety and she is the largest scientist for medicine. We have Aviegale retired who has conducted research about herbal medicine. That mafia culture was the notable study of drug original Zheryl B. Looking at drug testing construct down from the last 4 to 5 months of pregnancy. If a pregnant person uses a maternal drug, this drug testing was invented by Enrique Mapua, Australia, Jr. Lilian Formalejo Cadena contributed by studying on plant biotechnology. The outstanding Filipino educator and drug theorist, Marijo Pangilinan Luis. The research in the field of communication technology is what Leandro contribute to the Philippines science. So let's talk about the facts. Bachelor starts with Nova. This is the common start of skin cancer. Did you know that the inventor of anti-cancer treatment is a Filipino scientist? Yes, and he is Leandro D. She is the Luz Belardo, Filipino chemist who extracted a surgery essential oil. Every scientist deserves recognition because of their hard work and passion. Their contribution serve us and new knowledge for us and can be a help to solve the challenges we're facing today.
Hello everyone, so today I'm here to talk about the scientists at the University of the Philippines that influenced the development of Filipino scientists. But before that, let's talk about scientists first. A scientist is a professional person who conducts researches in the field of science through data gathering to fulfill the different kinds of topics. We all know that there are so many great scientists around all over the world. But today, let's focus on our own country, our own scientists. Let's tackle about it. Are you ready? Let's go! Many Filipino scientists are all good when it comes in developing science. And so I think one of the reasons of that is they're influenced by their culture, in which they grow up like through great teacher, families, or even friends. Those cultures shapes expectation, values, belief, and goals. Scientists too are shaped by their culture and societies which influence their work. But sad to say that many scientists has not been recognized in the field of science. So many universities find way to establish every scientist here in the Philippines. I salute every scientist because they continue to bring honor and make us proud. And also, they help people to understand how the way the world works in a specific way. By the way, I'm Cristine Joy A, your resident lover, toward the next topic, the indigenous knowledge system. See you next time!
Hey, it's me, Andrea C, your science blogger for today, and I have something to share to all of you, such as information and knowledge about indigenous knowledge system. But before we proceed in the topic, I want to share some trivia to all of you. Did you know that according to our traditional health studies, indigenous knowledge system in the Philippines, the traditional herbalists utilize 1,500 types of herbs, and out of 12,000 species and people in rural regions have limited access to formal healthcare. Therefore, it is very valuable today because not everyone has the means to be treated in hospitals and determine whether or not it is an emergency. Isn't that great? Well, there's more as it follows, and tell you first how it is important in our culture and community practices. As children grow older, indigenous knowledge becomes ingrained in their daily lives. They live and grow up in a society where indigenous knowledge is prominently practiced by community members. It is defined as distinctive, traditional, and local knowledge generated within and around specific situations of indigenous women and men in certain geographic area. These are some advantages and community practices of indigenous knowledge system. Preserving foods, using indigenous technology in daily lives, building local irrigation system, classifying different types of soil for planting based on cultural properties, produces wines and juices from tropical fruits, keeping the custom of growing plants and vegetables in the yard. And for all of you who are watching, What do you think the indigenous knowledge system has contributed to our country? Here's some more vital information regarding current science of you who want to learn more.
Hi everyone! It's Grisel on your screen, and I'm here to do a mini Q&A regarding the definition of indigenous science given by the different people. Without further ado, let's proceed to it. So, this ball currently has 11 names of people who gave meaning to indigenous science, and I'll be picking randomly and briefly discuss their take on the said topic. Let's shade it. And first one, Regienald, Kappa, and CBC. According to these people, indigenous science is basically an indigenous knowledge system that is performed and done by the different group of people in Asian civilization or society. Next one, Babylon. Babylon explained that it compromises knowledge, expertise, practices, and representation that serves as a guide or blueprint for a human interaction in their natural environment. Also, Babylon said that indigenous science knowledge had helped to improve the diversity and content of the interaction of the people that happens within a society and environment. Third one, Ogawa. Ogawa stated that indigenous science is experienced by the people belonging to a certain cultures. They are the ones who adapt and cope up the changing and developing environment caused by the continuous growth of indigenous science. Okay, fourth, pangapat na po tayo. Kahites take regarding indigenous science is that everything correlates or is connected to it. May it be metaphysics, which is about the reason behind the existence of the things that philosophy and other technologies used by the people from the both past and present. Next one is Yakarino. Yakarino elaborates the idea of Kahite. Explained that science is a part of the culture, that the way its function greatly depends on the cultural practices of the people. And we all know that the people who belong to the different groups has a variety of cultural practices that is different from others. Proceeding to the next one. Johnson had mentioned that indigenous belief develops that some values that is fitting to the scientific attitude, such as motivating attitudes, cooperating attitudes, practical attitudes, and reflective attitudes. These kind of beliefs are good foundation to spread positive values and views of the people regarding science in the general. Next one, Kuhn said that the developmental stage are driven by the continual competition between the different perspectives regarding the nature, and all perspectives are being truly examined whether it is matched with the result that came from the using scientific observation and method. Down to the last one, CBC. CBC said that indigenous science is basically the source of the basic as astronology, pharmacology, food, technology, which is given by the different group of people who has variety of the practice, cultures, and tradition that differ from the one another. All in all, indigenous science is the application of knowledge of the people depending on their tradition and cultures. It has continued to grow, develop as there are continuous acquired variety of the knowledge. That will be for now. I'll be expecting you to all in the next video, which is a continuation of indigenous science to be discussed by Briones. Thank you guys!
For the last topic, I will discuss about the indigenous science postulation. Before that, hi, I am Regienald Briones, your last vlogger for this video. In formulating information, we first need to have verifications. The existence of evidences should be presented mostly. It is to gain the acknowledgement of it as factual. However, in the case of indigenous science, we could add ideology. So fun fact, there is a process created to prove indigenous science. It was further explained on the year 2006 by Powellen. So Powellen was the one who created the foundation of identification of it. So according to him, there are three main components needed, which are the science process skills, the community culture and values, and the traditional knowledge. So if three of these are satisfied, the information then is classified as indigenous science. So based on the postulation of Powellen, in order to progress in proving indigenous science, we need to use guide and let the information be according to composition by the three components. So first, it uses the science progress skills, and according to Dr. Charles Barman on the year 1992, so these are the conducts of a person that contributes to the progress of determining the quality of the information. So next is the guided by the community culture and values. So these are the ideology derived from diverse groups, so it could vary and be affected by their beliefs and knowledge. So lastly, it is composed of traditional knowledge. So it is a general part wherein it includes the indigenous knowledge. It is used by different communities or groups of people that practices the same tradition. Technically, it is passed from generations to other generations, hence making the information remain and then could be used for proving information. So all of these help science in the present and in the future. As this serves as the basis and guide for science, it assists in improvement of new creations. Indigenous science is the proven blueprint of almost everything, especially the science existence and development. So it has the purpose of explaining the meaning behind the existence of an entity and making the task convenient, especially since the start of technology. So that was the end of our video. For more videos, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell until our next STS explorations. Bye!